I was driving around this morning in absolutely terrible weather, blowing a gale, miserable as sin. And for some reason, a Facebook post that I read this morning from somebody who's child-free not by choice and who elected to post anonymously popped into my head. And I was mulling this over at a set of traffic lights. She was struggling to move forward on her grief journey and asking how others are managing. I was thinking about this and the word acceptance. It came into my head and I got to thinking about the alphabet of words that are challenging when we're grieving. I realised what a stumbling block acceptance can be to most people, and certainly was to myself. I thought about some of the other stumbling blocks, those other words that just can cause huge blockages and issues. And I thought I'd jump on here and talk to you about them. By the time I'd wrote some notes to myself, we'd got up to letter J, and I thought, right, okay, I'm going to have to read this off a screen, so apologies for the eye movement, but here we go. So what's B? B is blame. Blame for the situation we find ourselves in. Blame is so destructive to relationships. When we're blaming ourselves or others for our situation, we simply are never going to find joy or happiness. C is change. Change is so difficult to find when we're in grief. The impetus to change, where is it? Change is uncomfortable, it's unpredictable, and quite honestly it can be quite frightening as well. Whilst we'll never admit it to ourselves, and certainly not to others either, we find comfort in our sadness quite often, and letting go of our sadness is something that we can't face. I couldn't find a D, but I could find an E, and that's envy. And envy has a similar effect to blame. If we envy others for what they have, we don't have a chance of finding happiness because we're not happy with what we've got. And next, the dreaded F word. Well, there's actually two of those. The first one is forgiveness. Never, you might think. And I thought that too. But yes, you do have to forgive yourself, and you have to forgive others as well. Joy and happiness are strangers when we struggle to forgive. The other F is future. When we're grieving, we often cannot see that there's a future, or certainly not a future that we would like to live. But yes, there is one out there for us that has happiness and joy. But it does take work to achieve. And then G. Well, it's grief, of course. Grief is simply loss. Suffering a loss is what leads to our feelings of grief. And H. One of the most controversial words, happiness. So many of us seem to be in search of happiness, not realising that happiness comes from within us. Happiness is another challenging word because we hope that it will just come to us for free. Why aren't we happy? We thought we were, and then we weren't. It doesn't stay with us. Happiness really requires effort and achievement from us. Unfortunately, it's not something we can buy. It's not something that somebody else can give us either. Joy. Joy is all around us, but often when we're grieving, we can't see it. But it comes from the smallest things, whether it's seeing the sunshine in the morning, and boy, would I have liked to have seen that this morning. Listening to some birdsong, and yep, that was elusive too. Being in our happy place, bumping into a friend, a phone call from somebody we love, one of our pets just coming to us for attention and showing us that it loves us. While acceptance comes at the beginning of the alphabet, it's not the first word that we achieve in coaching. It can take a number of coaching sessions to find acceptance. Acceptance for our situation is quite tough, honestly, and it can be extremely difficult to find that future that we're looking for, to find happiness and joy. If you're finding that these words are challenging in your life right now, it's most likely that coaching could help you. So please feel free to reach out to me and arrange an introductory call where we can discuss this further for you. Thank you for tuning in.